Right. I'm Kaila from Youth Man.
I am Marcus from Youth Man. We're going to be talking about how creativity enriches our lives. We're going to be talking about our own individual creativity and our perceptions of what creativity
And
is.
our motives to be creative.
Yes. I suppose really the best way to start would be to talk about how we would define creativity. And I'd personally say that creativity really is an expression of learned behaviours, learned techniques, and interpreting that into one's own idea of what that thing should be. So creativity in terms of music, as far as I'm concerned, is taking on board the things that you like, the things that you believe in, the things that influence you, and using those to shape your own product, your own creation of that nature. I think that the same goes for kind of art. And
Yeah, definitely. I think as human beings, we are prone to expression in any medium, whether that be cooking a nice meal, whether that be telling someone that you love them, whether that be writing a song as we do. I think creativity is, because as humans we are so autonomous that we are too aware of our own mortality and our own kind of existence that we have to bring meaning to that. And creativity is a way that we bring meaning to ourselves and our existence and
make a legacy for ourselves.
Definitely.
Legacy is a large factor, I think.
In 2016, like so much of us are prone to depression and anxiety, and we feel kind of worthless. Creativity gives us a sense of self-worth, and it gives us meaning, even though we know it's a man-made kind of
construct.
Yeah, it is a man-made construct that we have to have a purpose and a meaning. But I think it's so. I think we're affected so much by it at the moment that it's a necessity to be creative for some people. I feel I'm probably one of those people.
Yeah.
As a musician.
I think that people as well, a kind of flock mentality is also a factor when, it goes right back to junior schools and infant schools and nurseries where the teacher gets the paints and the papers out and you see everybody doing something, you see everybody painting smiley faces or whatever, and you want to do that yourself. You want to put out your own interpretation of that thing, and that continues. I think as things get in the way in the modern world, as they have their way of doing, people can have their creativity stifled. I think that again, that same pack mentality can make people feel like they're not free to create the things that they want to. And insecurity, I think, can lead to the suppression and the hampering of creativity. But I think it's important to express oneself creatively in some way, and most people do, even if they don't realise it. By having a Facebook page and posting a Facebook status, you're creating something. You're creating, prose or literature of some kind.
Yeah.
And by the same token, when people decorate their front room, when people buy furniture for their house, they're creating something. They're projecting their idea of what a house should be based on, again, these learned behaviours, these learned perceptions and interpretations. Everybody is creative in some way, even down to reproduction.
Yeah.
The act of reproduction, the act of copulation, is in itself a creative and expressive act.
And we've made it so it almost has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think going back to like the autonomy of human beings, we have to kind of, we've got so much built up pressure that we have to have a release. And I think for me and Marcus anyway, our release is writing these songs and then performing them on stage, and just all these thoughts and feelings we have, we transfer that to a musical medium in which we can express that and as humans, like, we enjoy that because we have, you know, we're not totally reproductive creatures. We don't live to reproduce anymore because we've created a society where it's a lot more complex than that. And I think it's almost a coping mechanism for a lot of people to be creative, to cope with this weird warped society that we've built. We just have to, you know, what am I trying to say? It's we're trying to just deal with human life in 2016. Like, I think that's just for us specifically. Our musical creativity helps us, you know. It's respite, it's release from this unnatural society.
For me as well, I think personally, it's a means of controlling the area of which I am, in which I am interested, the area in which I practice. So, you know, both musically and artistically, a lot of the things that I create are based upon my own feeling that there is a lack of that thing. So I'll be like, you know, no one's written a song that does this, or I haven't heard one that I enjoyed, so I'm going to make one. No one's done a painting that looks like this, so I'm going to make one. I really want to put these two things together, so I'm going to. And that's, you know, for my own satisfaction. If other people enjoy that, that's fine. I haven't done it for that reason. I've done it because I feel like I need to. I have an urge to make things, and to create things, to get things out of my mind, I suppose, more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think definitely musically, it is a way of just kind of pushing things to see how far they can go, seeing
Absolutely.
how audacious you can be, seeing how you know, how two things can come together. It's like chemistry.
Yeah, it's I think it's not I'm not going to say it's a distraction, but I think it is, you know, coping and trying to, like, entertaining yourself with other things. Like, you know, when we as humans, we no longer just, you know, eat and reproduce. We've got, like, a very complex society that where there's a demand for things such as, you know, music and new art and new TV shows and new radio presenter. Like, it's like there's always a demand for something new, and that demand allows people to be creative and cater to that demand. So I think we just try and slot in, like, hopefully people are on the same page as us, so when we write songs and perform them, they're like, yeah, I understand that because I feel that too, or anything like that. I just think that I think we need it as humans, just to be experimental and creative and try to make new things, because, like, you know, there's capitalism and there's, you know, like, there's the government that we don't agree with, and there's all these things that we can't change individually, but what we can do individually is express that, and that's where creativity comes in. If we express that and people, like, say that they enjoy the way we express that and that they can relate to the way we express that, then I think that's probably what we're trying to do. I'm not sure if, like, even we're not consciously trying to do it, but we're doing that anyway. And if people say, yeah, I dig that, then that's cool. Doesn't mean we wouldn't do it otherwise. Yeah.
I think legacy, for me, legacy plays a large part as well, in quite a selfish way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to just be a guy who just existed and was just about, and no one remembers that person.
That definitely comes into our autonomy.
Sometimes,
because we're so aware of our existence that we want to put a legacy down. We have to.
Or like sometimes, you know, art-wise, I'll create something deliberately. I will create something where I'm like, if somebody in 1,000 years' time digs this up, they are not going to know what that is. They're going to be like, why is that? Who made that? That guy with the glasses. He did that. And I think that is a big thing. I don't really think that anybody, wants to be forgotten. I think everybody wants to leave a legacy in some way, and in that respect, they create a property portfolio, or they create a child, or they create something of some description.
Yeah.
Even if it comes to a gravestone or an epitaph, it's like, oh, remember me? Yeah, I was here.
Whether it be your son or your name or your songs, you want to be remembered.
Definitely.
I think that is a real thing for a lot of people. I don't know. I think for me, it's more ego. I'm too aware of myself and how people perceive me. I like to. I almost want to be perceived in a certain way, but I know that's probably not me. So you have to try and just be unadulteratedly yourself. I think I just made up a word. That doesn't matter. I think you have to just be yourself to an extent that's weird, and hopefully people will understand, because it gets to. I don't know what I'm trying to say. We're just very aware of ourselves and how we're being perceived. So to be creative, it's. Oh, fuck, I've lost it.
I think it's that, I think that people define themselves by challenging themselves constantly.
Yeah, that's it.
And reinventing themselves and creating this idol, this person. Who was it now who said that they were their own hero? It was Dallas Buyers Club guy. Barrage Club, what's his name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. He made a speech. I think he was at the Golden Globes, and he said, who was his hero? Where did he see himself in 5 years' time, whatever? And he said he is always his own hero. He always wants to be himself in 5 years' time. But he puts a set of demands on himself that means he can never be that person. And I think that's the thing.
That's the thing.
One defines oneself, or I define myself, and I think that a lot of people define themselves by questioning themselves constantly, questioning their beliefs, questioning their abilities, pushing their abilities, and going, oh yeah, I do that now, that's my thing. I play golf now. I didn't play golf before, now I play golf, I'm a golf guy. People.
I think we find that even in our own band. Marcus writes a certain kind of song a lot of the time, and we all dig that, and it's great, and I have my own brand of songwriting that is very me, and Miles has his own brand of songwriting, and it's all bringing yourself to the table, but in such a way that it's just so raw and unadulterated, uninhibited. It's the form of yourself, because everyone's so individual. That is a real thing, that no person's the same as another. You just want your brand to be something, anything, just for people to recognise that and accept it. Because I think we put a lot of rules in place, we're supposed to be a lot of things that we're not inherently. We're supposed to be, we're not supposed to be selfish, but we're inherently selfish creatures. That's a lyric, Marcus. We're supposed to be generous, and we're not generous creatures, but we create a society that requires us to be things that aren't natural to us. And I think creativity, or being a creative, helps us just discuss and discover what we are and who we are.
That's no good.
What happened?